This is Smoking Out the Closet. Now, here are your hosts.
Hi, I'm Rayven. I use she, her pronouns.
I am Asmodeus. I use they, them pronouns.
And welcome back to another episode of Smoking Out the Closet. For those of you who are new or just joining us, we are a queer podcast.
Pun intended.
That talks about cannabis,
The LGBT community,
and everything in between.
and beyond.
So welcome.
Welcome.
Ugh, my nose. Oh, okay. So, do you want to do the review first?
Yeah.
Okay. So, recently, as a first for the state of Pennsylvania, Verano has released under their Avexia line bath salts that are infused with cannabis. Ah, crap. Where'd I put mine? There it is.
So, Raven and I have both tried these in different capacities, which I feel like is also good. We can test the versatility of the product as well.
Yeah, because I unfortunately can't take a bath because I'm over 6 foot tall. I'm 6'1" exactly. But I can literally sit up straight and my back with the one edge, like back of the tub, and then my feet are right underneath the spigot.
Hashtag tall girl problems.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I took it as a shower, and I'll explain how I used it and everything, and you can explain how you use it after we kind of talk about the product itself. So it's 100 milligram, in total, lavender bath soak is what it says. It's made with sea salt, lavender, vegetable glycerin, tocopherol, which is vitamin E, I guess, sunflower oil, jojoba oil, activated medical cannabis oil. Activated. I activate my medical cannabis card.
Hey, that's what you got to do whenever you update patients' cards and MJ. You activate them.
Let's see, argan oil, aloe vera leaf juice, and ultramarine violet, which I'm assuming is the dye.
Yes.
It also so the directions on the thing, it says, as you draw a bath, add half of the contents of the container. You may carefully increase the amount as needed. Use 1/4 of this container for soaking just hands or feet. Shake well before use. Now I was told if you have a small bath or like an average house bath or like a Pittsburgh house bath, especially, use half. But if you have a big old tub that could probably fit me, use full. Imagine throwing this in a jacuzzi.
Oh.
Oh.
I'm thinking about a clawfoot tub. Those are beautiful.
Oh yeah.
And they're so big, and you can just, your whole body can be submerged at once. Because even though I am only 5'6", it's either my neck or my knees that are in the tub. Like, I can't really fit both.
Yeah. So, do you want to say how you used it first, or do you want me to say how I used it first?
No, you go ahead and go first.
Okay, so because I am tall and I do have to shower instead of tub, I looked up ways to use bath salts in the shower. And so one thing I kind of figured I would just do like a bath soak for my feet was, as I was showering, I poured some of the salt, just a small bit, like not even a full quarter, to be honest. And I sprinkle some, so like while the water's rising in the shower, it'll kind of soak my feet and my ankle, which has been causing me a lot of pain lately. And then what I did was, I saw you can use it as an exfoliant, so I mixed a little with my body wash. And then on my back, which was hurting at the time, I just kind of rubbed it right on.
Mm-hmm.
And oh my gosh, did all the pain go away for a bit? I mean, my ankle still is giving me issues, but that always gives me issues. But like, for the day, it was really nice. I love the way it smells. It smells a lot like lavender. But on the problem I had with rating this was, I have never used bath salts before. I've used Epsom salt once. It was for my feet.
Yeah.
I've never used anything with like a bath. I never used anything for like um anything other than that one time I used Epsom salt. So I have no real way of comparing it to regular everyday like bath salts.
Hmm.
Um so I just kind of rated it on basically how it made me feel and kind of compared it to the Dr. Solomon's lotion. And honestly, I get a lot of relief from it just like I did with Dr. Solomon. So I gave it a 4 out of 5. Because like again, I if I had more experience with like using Epsom salt or something like that, I feel like I would have an easier time rating this.
And then you got me. I'm a bath boy. I like taking baths. My grandma had a really big tub, and I always take double baths. Um, but I rated this a lot higher. It's a 4.7, and you were like, are you sure?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it works. It's really nice." The way that I used it is I took the cap and I kind of measured in the cap how much I was putting in the bath
Mm,
because I eyeballed. It looked like the cap held about a quarter of what was in the jar, so I
okay.
just filled it up twice and put it in the tub. And it seemed like when I eyeballed it, it looked like about half the jar. So
Okay.
it's a good reference of anybody who buys it. You can fill the cap up twice. That's about half the container. And then I added a little bit more. I love to draw my bath super, super hot, and we have really freaking hot water because we have a gas hot water tank. So I just cranked that sucker like full tilt for like a quarter of the bath when I had the salt in there, and then I let it like fill up with like a little bit cooler water so I didn't like scorch myself. But then I let it sit for a little bit and like mixed it up, made sure it was all mixed because the oil does like to rise to the top of the tub. Um, but yeah, then I kind of eased myself in because it was really hot, which also helped relax my muscles
Hmm.
and like I don't know, it just made my whole body tingly. Like when I was lowering myself in the tub, all my hairs on my legs stood up. I don't know, it's probably just because it was really warm too, but it was just so nice and relaxing. And like when I got out, my skin felt nice and smooth. There was a little bit of it felt like a film, but I left it because I was pretty sure it was just the vitamin E oil and it all went in and now my skin's all nice and soft. um, I didn't use it on my face. I thought about it because it is like I have had sugar scrubs before that you can use. You need to put them in the tub or you can use them on your face as an exfoliant or like I might try this out like at some point, but I did like rinse my face with bath water. So like and my face also looks nice and clear too. Um
And I feel like the hot water also helps it with like opening your pores and everything. So a lot of like the oil that's in it kind of can seep in easier.
Absolutely. It has like a deeper penetration also because your muscles are already relaxed and everything. Like you said, your pores are open. It smells amazing. It's this really nice light purpley color. Um I feel like I was looking later, we also had a bag of lavender scented Epsom salt. And I feel like what would happen if you mix the two?
Mm.
I feel like that would also be very nice.
Oh, probably. It's just adding more of the salt and
Yeah.
lavender. I mean, it might just cut back on the amount like of the actual bath soak from Avexia is being used, but I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing.
No, I mean that also could be a good way. If you wanted to say you can't afford to get these a whole lot, you can
Yeah,
make it
because
last or use lower doses if you need to.
this thing is like $30 for the entire container.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you're getting one or two usages out of it, but it's a lot of your body, I can kind of see why.
Yeah.
Um, but if you're like me, you're probably going to use it more for like a foot soak, and you're using like 4 dosages. That's not too bad,
Yeah.
all things considered. I also like how it says "do not eat" for topical parentheses external use only.
People hear salt and they think they can eat it.
Well, technically, it doesn't say salt on it. That's just what I've been calling it. It
Oh,
says
it says
lavender bath
bath
soak.
soak. Okay. Well, it looks like salt or it
Hmm.
looks like sugar. And they also need to make sure that they have all those warnings on there because the DOH. I'd also
Yeah,
like to point out I feel like it lasted a couple days, like the effects of it. I'm still not sore. I don't feel nearly as tense.
I will say my back doesn't hurt as much. Again, my ankle's like an everyday thing, unfortunately for me.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to add?
No, I'm just excited to use that again. I'm gonna take another bath here sometime soon.
Do you want to talk about the big thing that's going on with queer Twitter? Or queer talk? Sorry. Gay
Sure.
TikTok? Um, so recently, because I wanted to talk about this because I think I sent you the video, but I want to talk about this, and I think you do too as well. Um, is who in who should and shouldn't be in LGBTQIA plus bars and clubs and events and organizations.
Yeah.
I feel like we can open it up, but specifically bars is what we're looking at right now.
Yeah.
So on TikTok, this one person came to a specifically, it's called Cubby. It's one of 3 remaining lesbian bars in New York City out of like 100 and something, or it's either 100 and something or 300 queer bars in New York City. 3 are lesbian only,
Hmm.
which suck. And it's a small bar. Like, I haven't been to it, but I saw photos while looking at this stuff. It's
Mhm.
almost as bad as it's just as bad as the gay bar in State College.
Chumley's.
Yes,
Oh god, it's so
it's a
small.
hole in the wall.
Quite literally.
Like the original Permani Bros is bigger.
Jeez.
um. So so this lesbian invites her friend, who is the
Mhm.
person who makes the TikTok, to Cubbies,
Mhm.
and the who identifies as straight, and she invites her straight male friend. So we have a cishet woman who's an invited guest of a queer person, extending an invitation to a space that is not hers first and foremost. That's
Yeah.
that's that's an issue there. Then she
Yeah.
invites a cis hetero straight man
To a lesbian bar.
to a lesbian bar. And her thing was, oh, well, I saw a lot of flamboyant guys there. Is it okay because they're gay? And obviously, that's kind of a stereotype. So I want to talk about that, and I want to hear your thoughts on this. Let me scoot over so I can face you a little better. So, Asmodeus, who do you think belongs into lesbian bars?
Lesbians, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like non I guess just non-male queer
Mm-hmm.
folks. Because I know a lot of lesbian bars have been more open to non-binary people. Um but I'm not really into. I don't know. I don't really feel like that's my space. That's like the lesbian space.
Yeah,
Um,
like someone like I could go in there because I am a. Well, I don't identify as a lesbian. I am a very sapphic woman. I very
yes.
much like women, even though I'm with 2 non-binary people. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying that as a comment. Like, oh, yeah, I don't have a girlfriend.
um, yeah. I don't know. You said that they allowed that this bar welcomed. Did it sound like they welcomed queer men?
I feel like just because of the how tight knit the community is in New York City, probably. But I feel okay. So here's my thing, right? I definitely agree. It should be more, femme presenting people, femme aligned people, I should say, coming in. So like NBs who present more feminine, or just NBs in general, no matter how you present or are on the scale spectrum. Um, Trans women, transgender, I feel like would be welcome too. But because my biggest thing is, if it was a bigger location, I feel like sure LGBT people come in, that's fine. But I'm using specifically Cubbies as this one, or Cubby. I think it's just Cubby, not Cubbies. Um, it's already super super small, so there's already a small amount of space, and gay men have so many other bars
Yeah.
available in New York City.
I kind of wanted to circle back to your point of you think that like trans men would be allowed in, and I can understand where you're coming from, but I also feel like coming from the perspective of they are they're men, and this is a
Yes.
sapphic
Yes.
/ feminine space.
And no, I agree with that. It's more of like people in the community as guests of a sapphic person being in
Yes,
there.
yeah.
I think you should be allowed to be in there. But it's one of those things like, and someone else said this on TikTok, that it's like a wedding. You don't just go inviting people
Yeah,
outside. Like if you're being invited yourself from the group on the inside, you don't invite someone else.
yeah.
It's like going to a party.
If you're someone's +1, you don't also get a +1.
Exactly.
That's not how that works.
Exactly.
Also, I think this situation, also in this specific case, I guess, was a lot different too, because this was not his space at all. And it was already on the, okay, so you're feminine, but you're straight. That's okay. You're not like invading our space, right? You're a guest. But also, then she went and invited this cis man.
Yeah, and also this person,
straight man.
and this person also says in the original video that she goes to gay bars all the time, and that's the thing with gay bars that are very, like, just either general gay bars or gay men exclusive gay bars.
Mm-hmm.
Is bachelorette parties go there a lot of the time. Straight women will go there and oogle over the men. Like straight women will invade those spaces as well, and then act like they're being a friend, they're being an ally. And I've seen this before too, like especially at some drag events that I've been to, and I'm like, girl, slow down.
It's so cold.
I know. I'm okay. I'm just a little chilly up here.
Yeah.
So the thing is, so I feel like it should be the group. And then if you have exclusively like a lesbian bar and they're like non-binary and trans people friendly, I feel like they should be allowed to enter as well. Like I don't think anyone should kick them out. And that's kind of moving away. We talked about this before about like I can't remember the acronym for the life of me now, but it's like sapphic women and then like trans and NB people are also welcome, and they make it a point to say, hey, trans and non-binary people are allowed here.
Yes.
But I feel like those spaces should be for them. But we also need more of them because they're already dying out. Like I don't think there's any in State College. There's one gay bar in State College. There's no lesbian bars here in Pittsburgh. There's like what 4 or 5 surviving.
Didn't them open back up?
Maybe. Okay. We might have another one.
I'm pretty sure it's Sapphic NB bar. I do believe I remember hearing that it opened up not too long ago. It was when we moved here, it was in the process of being like renovated and reopened, and I can't remember which bar it was beforehand, but it was some sort of, I believe, some sort of queer bar before it became them.
Okay. Let's see here on visitpittsburgh.com.
There we go.
Let's see. 5801 Video Lounge and Cafe, Blue Moon.
Yeah, 5801 is clear.
Brewers Hotel and Bar, Cavito. Some of these are inclusive, like Cavito, Club Pittsburgh. Yeah, I'm not seeing them on here.
Interesting.
Hot Mass, P-Town, Lucky's. Anyway, even so, okay, so we might potentially have one, and we have like, what was like 7 gay bars in town?
Yeah.
And so, like, that's a lot more than State College, but still, like, we need more spaces. Also, I feel like we need more spaces that aren't just bars.
Yeah.
That you can meet, because, like, okay, so the history of gay bars, and I'm not saying that you can't have a gay bar, you can't go to a gay bar, but as society, we need 3 places. And it's like a place to work, a place to come home and sleep, and a place to socialize. For a long, long time, historically, queer bars were a safe space for the third place in our community. Like, using Stonewall as an example was a huge one for us, like our community, not you and me, but like us as our yeah. So the fact that, you know, this person who's not part of the community invited someone else who's not a part of the community into a space for the community, it is just it's the entitlement of it all that kind of irks me.
Yeah.
But also it's the fact that, trying to find my words carefully here. It's the fact that this is our third place. The two straight people, have their own third place. Pretty much 99% of the world,
Right.
especially the guy, especially the cis straight guy.
He can go wherever the fuck
His
he
third
wants to.
place is everywhere. So, like, unless he's a person of color, I will say, unless he's a person of color, because that was never identified, I will put that caveat on there. But they already have so much. So, I don't know. I feel like it was a lot of entitlement from the person invited and who extended the +1 ship.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you have any additional thoughts?
I don't think so. I think I pretty much said my piece with it.
Oh, I didn't finish my one thought. I I was like, oh, here's a thought. Wait, hang on. Let me start this. And I trailed off. Okay, so
let me go into this side thought, and then I'll come back to the main thought.
So we need more third places to meet up besides bars. Like, yes, there are group gatherings sometimes, but a lot of the other places, like we want something outside of like health clinics and stuff, and like mental health groups coming through that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Cuberg in Pittsburgh is very good on that. I will say, like their community center, it's really cute, and that is kind of a third place. But I feel like we need more than just that, because it is also kind of small as well. Not saying it's a bad thing. Go support the community center. They're awesome people. I love them. All my heart. Well, you know what I mean. Like, I love what they do.
They're awesome.
But we need more spaces like that. Like, we need more non-alcoholic based places. Now, could there be a queer cannabis bar?
That'd be really cool.
Maybe, maybe someone has an idea like that after Pennsylvania goes rec. That'd be cool. But we also need places for non-consumption. We need something for like people who can't drink either or use cannabis because either they're a minor or they have a medical condition or it's just not their cup of tea, which is fine. Like cafes or bookstores.
That's the first thing I thought of. Was like, yes, cafes and bookstores, both. Actually, put them together.
Yeah.
Make a queer Barnes and Noble.
Oh, like Webster's and State College.
Yes, please make more Webster's.
But like things like that. Heck, there's people who do that for people who don't drink. There's like a guy who has like a cereal bar where he'll get like regular cereal and then he'll get like the weird kind of offshoot seasonal ones or like the limited edition ones. And you can literally just play video games in an arcade and eat cereal.
I love that.
And I'm like, all right, cool. Let's run with that. Let's get more of those. Let's get, some queer friendly ones, I'm not saying that one isn't. I'm just saying we need more.
I hope they're
options.
I hope they're lactose intolerant friendly. That would be great.
I'm pretty sure this was like years ago when I saw this video. I'm pretty sure they had like lactose free milk.
Sweet. I could hang out there all day.
I don't think it's in this state, unfortunately.
I know, but we should go sometime wherever it is.
Yeah, I have to look it up. But like, we need more spaces that don't just serve alcohol for a third space for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like, and sometimes we find our spaces, like you and me in nerd shops.
Yeah.
Like, we would go find a space and we could play Friday Night Magic with people, and like get stuff for our D&D things. And like It's not hard, but I feel like we need more of it for our community because honestly,
We need a queer nerd shop.
yes.
Because I think I've mentioned this to you before, and I'm going to mention it real fast on the podcast. As a queer person and as somebody who is AFAB, I feel kind of awkward, very awkward going into these dominantly male dominated shops, but it's just like something I'm interested in too. But I feel like a lot of them I'm still kind of like, I get really anxious because I'm just like,
You feel like an invader a little bit,
little
just
bit.
because like it historically has not been very welcoming to more of just cis women, let alone very openly queer people.
Yeah.
I can remember some of the very toxic Magic the Gathering players just from like State College.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying the group that I played with was toxic. I just know there were some toxic players in the area. Gosh, I think that's all I have to say. Honestly, like basically, if you're not part of the group or you're not part of the group, like, let me back up. If you're not part of the group and you weren't invited by the group, don't fucking come in.
Simple as that. That applies for a lot of things.
It really does. If you weren't invited by the host of the party and you're not someone's plus one, don't fucking come in. Like,
Yeah.
you don't even go here. That's a Mean Girls reference, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I never watched Mean Girls. But I know quotes.
You knew enough to get the references.
Is there anything you want to add, love?
I don't think so.
Okay. Can I give a little shout out?
Sure.
So I wanted to shout out because a podcast that inspired our podcast officially ended. And I just want to say a big old thank you to Mike and Mary Jane. That's weird. I always did Mary Jane and Mike for the longest time. I think it's just because I've been listening to a lot of their episodes, catching up.
Mm-hmm.
But I just want to give Mary Jane and Mike a big wholehearted thank you. I've already commented on their little mini episode they put on Instagram. And I hope they do great things. I know they're still going to do a lot of like cannabis related stuff. I'm just going to miss Weed and Grub.
Yeah.
Because it was a really cool show when I found it a little before the pandemic and kind of just fell in love with it and fell in love with a lot of stuff they talked about and very much kind of was like, oh, that's cool. They talk about weed and food. Well, I'm just getting into weed myself and I'm new. Maybe I should talk about weed and LGBT stuff because there's not a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then I got you on board.
And now here we are.
Here we are.
100 and some episodes deep.
Yeah, 105 officially.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to say before the break?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Covered a lot.
Yeah, we did. On one big topic. But it's nice. You know, I like it.
It was important. Yeah, it was a nice discussion.
Alrighty. Well,
we'll be back after our break for another good discussion.
Oh, yeah. Pretty in Pink and purely wood pulp derived, Blazy Susan Pink rolling papers and cones will add a pop of color to your next smoke sesh. Their classic pink papers are naturally dyed, vegan, GMO free, and food safe. They contain no amounts of heavy metals or pesticides unlike other paper producers. Care about what goes in your lungs with Blazy Susan papers and cones. Use promo code BGSOTC20 at checkout to get 20% off with your friends at Smoking Out the Closet. Plus, get free shipping on orders over $50 in the United States. And we are back.
Woo! So I had something I wanted to talk about that I found.
Lay it on me.
So apparently, PA Warren County District Attorney Robert Greene has joined forces with the Second Amendment Foundation to sue the federal government in the U.S. District Court of the Western District of Pennsylvania. So this is to question a federal gun ban for those who use cannabis, and has made its way to be considered by the U.S. Supreme Court. Which I always found this strange.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it's just because it's Schedule 1 and the whole war on drugs, but also as a way because thanks to Nixon, you could lock people up for longer. Also, Biden wrote some of these laws too, so let's not forget that.
It is also noted that Robert Greene himself is a medical cannabis patient in the state of Pennsylvania. The new lawsuit names U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland of the FBI and Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, or ATF, as defendants. This represents what the lead attorney for the plaintiff believes to be the first civil rather than criminal challenge to the federal statute. Let's see what else. Let's see. I guess. Oh, so Green's not. Will not be seeking re-election. And will be turning his focus to advocacy on medical cannabis patient rights instead.
I mean, that's great, but like, I feel like this is. It's affecting me now, so I need to do something.
I feel like, yeah, and it's. I don't know. Is it really that important? Is my question.
I will say, with the whole like baby steps thing, I feel like this actually could be really good because then you can get people who potentially either get shorter jail sentencing or get out of jail because of this. I know, starry-eyed, that's super hopeful of that's the way it's going to work, but it could potentially open the door for that,
Yeah.
and maybe get rid of stuff on people's records, at least in Pennsylvania. But also could kind of start for other things in other states, like California, where there's still a lot of people in jail because of having a gun and cannabis, or in other states where people are still getting arrested for that because they're a medical patient, but like had a gun before they got their med card. Now, I will say caveat, a lot of it is kind of you can't buy a new gun because the federal thing has when you're buying a gun for the background check, it asks if you have ever or currently used marijuana. Doesn't say anything about cocaine, but marijuana, sure.
People lie on that all the time.
Yeah, that's a felony.
Yeah, I know people who have lied on that. That's my main thing. As I'm like, I don't know. I don't care if anybody else wants to have guns. I just am like, why? I don't know. As somebody who uses cannabis, I don't find myself in the want of a gun. I don't know. The Venn diagram for me doesn't overlap too very much.
No, I agree with that. I feel like a lot of the ones who would want a gun and do use cannabis are the same guys who use cannabis to go fishing, like the hunters.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, they're not going to be blitzed off their butt while they're hunting, but when they're done, while they're carving their hunt, getting meat processed and everything, I feel like they would probably be smoking something, listening to, country music or metal. I only know 2 types of hunters.
Yeah.
They either listen to country music or metal. Or both in some cases.
Country metal.
But, like, I feel like, it's like the same as fishing. Like, you can use it for those kind of things, because I would love to go fishing with a joint in my mouth and just sitting in the boat in the water. That sounds like a fun time to me.
Absolutely.
I know people who go hiking. I know people who go hiking that use cannabis, and we have bears. Let's just point out that, like, as a safety thing, not even actively going out to kill an animal thing, just a safety thing.
There are
PA
bears.
has bears bobcats, mountain lions, wolves, coyotes. There's a lot of crap that's trying to kill you.
Mm-hmm.
So, I in those examples, I could see it,
Yeah.
But other than that, and potentially home defense, I can't think of a valid reason. Those are also the valid reasons I have in my mind for owning guns. Ugh.
And then there's me. I'm like, I don't think I am the kind of person who should even have a gun in my house.
No, that's fair. I'm very much like one of those people. Like, you should definitely get trained,
Yeah.
like the military does,
Mhm.
on how to handle a firearm. Is there anything else you wanted to add to that?
I'm just curious of how this is all going to turn out. If this is actually if anything is going to happen.
I gotta be honest on that. I don't think it is.
No.
I don't think anything's gonna happen other than maybe some people's views might change, which that's a good step, I guess.
Yeah.
But also, I'm very surprised that it's PA doing this. I would imagine like another state, more southern, that has medical cannabis.
Yeah. I
Doing
mean,
this.
PA also likes their guns, so.
True. I mean,
You got a lot of
Pennsylvania.
hunters. Yeah, you have a lot of hunters out here.
True.
Not out here like Pittsburgh specific, but out here being Pennsylvania.
Yeah. I don't know. There's a couple of my regulars who are hunters because we keep getting deer jerky.
Ooh.
I know.
Oh.
I know, it's so good.
You haven't brought me home any?
Because it's technically not for me. One of my coworkers gets it from one of his regulars, and he just happens to share.
Got you. I didn't know if it was like hey guys, I've been here all the time, have some deer jerky.
Yeah, it's more of one of my coworkers' regulars. Was that your knee that just popped?
That was my knee.
Oof.
That was the bad one.
Oof.
Oh my goodness.
Go take a bath.
Yeah, I need more of that bath to soak.
Well, I guess I have a couple of things I could bring up.
Yeah, that was kind of short and sweet. There wasn't really much anything else to it. Just that's a thing that's happening, and I'm interested about it.
Well, this should probably tickle your fancy for at least you and Mia, because y'all been watching a lot of documentaries lately.
Mm-hmm.
There's a new documentary coming out called Will and Harper. So the documentary is a portrayal of Will Ferrell and his friend Harper, who has recently come out as trans. It follows them as the two go take a drive cross country, and the story is more about Harper as she comes out as trans, and Will, who suggested taking a road trip as friends so they can discuss things and how their relationship as friends can continue for the better.
Aww.
From what I've heard from like reviews of it, that when it was put out in the Sundance Festival in Utah, it is really sweet and made very well. I'm very excited to watch it myself. An interview from the Hollywood Reporter, Will Ferrell said that he conceptualized the project as a documentary from the start. Quote, "Of course, I made it clear to Harper, I don't want to exploit our friendship, but this could, I think, be just a wonderful way for us to explore this topic. Obviously, for me to learn, ask all the questions that I have about what you're going through and who you are and how have you changed." Which I think is a very big point, because we don't, other than people on YouTube who are transitioning and talking about their transition or on social media in any way, shape, or form, like us with our podcast, there's not a lot of people who actively talk about what it's like to be trans or non-binary.
Yeah.
And it's not everybody's job. Let me put that first and foremost. It is, if you are part of one community, it is not your job to teach other people outside of your community about your community.
Yeah.
Let me just point that out first and foremost.
Google exists.
Yes.
Resource centers also exist.
They do. But eventually the two friends came to the same conclusion, which was that if they could convince someone to film it, that maybe it would be something that people would watch. And it would just give them a different perspective, or just show off the fact that two people can have a conversation about this, Ferrell added. And I think I think that's cute.
That is cute. I love that. I want to watch it now. When does this come out?
I didn't quite put that there. It might already be out at this point. Okay, so I have two things. One's really short, and then one is a Yahoo thing that I wanted to talk about. So it's 35.
Yeah.
It's 35 of the most gay-friendly cities. I want to do the top 10
Okay.
with you. And then if we have enough time, I'm going to circle back to the thing my coworkers gave me an aneurysm with. It was so dumb.
When you said Yahoo, my brain went to Yahoo Answers.
It's finance.yahoo.
I miss Yahoo Answers.
You can still go to them. They're still a thing.
Are they?
Yeah.
I thought that they shut down Yahoo Answers.
I didn't think so.
Because Quora is still up, and I thought it was. Hold on a second. We're gonna find this out right now.
Okay.
Yahoo Answers. Does Yahoo Answers still exist? In 2021, Yahoo Answers shut down permanently, and the platform is no longer accessible from Quora.
Oh, damn.
The one that is more popular now than Yahoo Answers.
Okay. All right. Well, this is exactly like the weed thing. Oh my gosh. Okay, you remember the time we did the top 10 biggest cannabis use cities?
Mm-hmm.
Or the top 15 or 20, and it started in Yahoo Finance, and then say go to this article to find the top 10, and it's from a totally different company. The exact same thing, the exact same websites.
Weird.
Yeah. Okay, so this is officially from insidermonkey.com. So number 10 is Auckland, New Zealand, with they're rating a friendliness score of 10.8.
What is their scale out of 10.8 or what?
It just says 10.8.
Oh,
I have no idea. New Zealand is one of the most progressive countries in the world, so it is no surprise that Auckland ends up in our top 10 most gay-friendly cities in the world. Much of Auckland's LGBTQIA plus scene is centered in its downtown.
Sorry, I was chuckling at the ad that came up on your phone.
Yeah, very targeted.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense though, because when I was figuring out my gender stuff, there was a couple YouTube channels about gender identity and expression and all that, and they were both from New Zealand.
Interesting.
So I thought it was really cool.
That is pretty cool.
Then we have, I am so sorry if I'm butchering the pronunciation of your town's name, Salzburg, Austria, with a score of 12.5. Salzburg, Austria. I almost said Australia. Salzburg has the biggest gay clubbing scene in the region, and that's all it says.
Cool.
Okay. Paris, France, with also a 12.5. While you may encounter the LGBTQ scene in all of Paris, its Marius district stands out. Paris is home to numerous LGBTQIA clubs and events. This is true, but from some of the queer folks that I know that have gone to Paris, it is not all that is hyped up to be.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Paris is bad. There's just... the club scene is very different from how it is here in the States, so be warned about that. Gothenburg, Sweden, also with a 12.5. Located on the west coast of Sweden, Gothenburg has one of the liveliest LGBTQI plus communities in the world. The city has its own version of Pride, which attracts visitors from around the world.
Cool.
I like these little, blurbs of things, but I need more information about the city. What makes it
what makes it gay friendly? What the fuck is the scale you're using, first of all?
Yeah, what's the scale out of? And also, what big locations are there? You say there's clubs. What fucking clubs? Give me
Give me names.
Give me the biggest gay bar or club or museum or whatever. These are like 2-sentence long blurbs about the city.
Not very good journalism.
No. San Francisco, California, USA. One of the most gay-friendly cities in the United States. Some people claim it to be the gay capital of the country, which, sure, you could say it, but it's more because of the district that Harvey Milk was mayor of. I think it's the Castro district specifically.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, yeah, cool, yeah, San Francisco, but it's more of this specific district. That's like saying New York City is super gay friendly, when all it really is mostly Soho.
Yeah.
Amsterdam in the Netherlands with a score of 15.6. Amsterdam has an abundance of gay bars and other gay-friendly establishments. It is currently the top 5 friendliest city in the world. Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. My Spanish is very rusty. I do apologize. 16.7. The city is an up-and-coming gay-friendly city in Mexico with a very vibrant LGBTQIA plus culture, which is still on the rise. Okay. Give me... How in the hell is Fort Lauderdale, Florida, friendlier than San Francisco?
It's fucking Florida.
Hey, in this current culture, when was this made? This was published this year.
Who the fuck? I need to write a letter to the editor. How did you let this get published?
Yeah, because, like, okay, yeah, cool. The city could be super friendly in itself, but problem is, it needs to go down. It has a 25. It needs to go down hardcore because of all the anti-trans and LGBT legislation that is going on in Florida right now.
Yeah.
How the fuck is this number 3? There's no way this should be number 3.
No.
Also, Fort Lauderdale? The spring break capital of the world? I'm sorry. Isn't Miami more the stereotype for Florida?
Yeah.
Like, correct me if I'm wrong. California, like San Francisco for California, that makes sense. That's kind of a stereotype for California. That's where all the queer people are.
Yeah.
But Fort Lauderdale? Oh, there's like, it's one of the top 3 in the friendliest cities in the United States. And it also considered the LGBTQ capital of Florida. Oslo, Norway, with a 28.1, is the runner-up for the most gay-friendly city in the world and is arguably one of the most open and inclusive communities in the entire world.
Who's number 1?
I don't know. Ads keep popping up. New York City. New York. Again, Soho. I already talked about that. I guess I spoiled the answer earlier by accident. But freaking
Spoiler
Soho.
alert.
Yeah, with 31.3. I mean,
I still want to know what the scale is. Because it's
Yeah.
not the equity index, because the equity index goes up to 100.
Yeah, I have no idea. I'm gonna link that in our show notes just because that is
Who is this monkey?
Who?
What'd you say it was?
Insider
Monkey?
Insider Monkey.
Insider Monkey, I need to write you an email because are you looking for an editor? You might need one. A new one.
Oh, okay. So we have some time for this, and I just, oh my god, this. Okay, so you know how like there's a stereotype of like stoners having high thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I work with stoners. We work in a dispensary.
A big surprise there.
Yeah.
Wait, what? You work? What? You're a stoner? Huh?
We work at a dispensary. All of us are patients. All of us use product. And I don't know how it started, but this was a 3-day debate. I was only there for 2 of them. The second day I was in admission, so I didn't even hear most of the fight. I'm just like slamming my head on the wall by the end of the first day. Who would win in a fight? SpongeBob SquarePants or Darth Vader? I don't know. And the thing is they were so my final answer, just to give you it, was, and I'm making a poll of this too after the show. So go look at the poll if you follow us on Spotify.
Go vote in the
I'll
poll.
also try putting it in another social media. Who do you think will win? Because I'm curious, but like I think it's an immovable object, meaning with an unstoppable force. Because if you're thinking Vader in his prime, he does a lot of stuff with the Force. But SpongeBob in the show, because he's a cartoon character, does a lot of stupid things, especially in the newer seasons where they make the Krusty Krab space themed, and he basically has an entire series of galaxies in the kitchen with a complete physics of space. And everyone's like, "Oh, Darth Vader can't breathe underwater." I'm like, or in underwater or in space. I'm like, you do realize he's hooked up to a ventilation system, right? That makes his own air.
That's what the is.
Yeah, exactly. And also,
I've never even watched Star Wars, and I know that. Come on.
And also, I'm like, I'm bringing up all these Force facts, and then I keep asking one simple question: what is canon to SpongeBob? Because a lot of the stuff they're bringing in from the video games and the third party stuff, and I'm like, okay, well, if we're doing that, I can bring in Star Wars Legends. I can bring in the video games of Star Wars. Like, what is canon to SpongeBob? And the one big thing of like SpongeBob almost died in the first movie because of a lamp. A lightsaber it's way hotter than a lamp.
Oh yeah.
But SpongeBob also goes onto dry land in one episode, but also almost dies from being in Sandy's tree dome.
SpongeBob has a lot of inconsistencies.
Yes, and it's because you're basically creating something that's like kind of semi-realistic fantasy, or sci-fi, against something that is completely just cartoon logic. It doesn't work. And that's why I think SpongeBob has a hard time being destroyed through his continuity of what little there is. I don't think he's strong enough to beat Darth Vader, but I don't think because of all the things SpongeBob can do within the show, at least, even just that, I don't think Darth Vader can defeat SpongeBob. It's just an impasse.
Where's this fight taking place? Because I feel like that would also, I don't know. Would that also weigh into who would win?
Because when people at work were talking about it, like, oh, well, like, they can't light their lightsabers underwater. And I'm like, no, if you're at the comics, they have ignited the lightsaber underwater. His respirator would probably more than likely allow him to breathe underwater.
Yeah.
So I still think...
What does armor and shit protect him from the Force of being at the bottom of the ocean, though?
The Force itself, like the actual use of the Force, can do some really broken shit.
No, not of the Force. The Force of the water pressing down on him from him being on the bottom of the ocean.
No, that's what I'm saying, though. It's like because you got to think they visit different planets with different gravities and everything, too. And I don't know how much of that is the Force playing into it. Like, the magic of Star Wars, I'm just going to have the magic.
the magic Force.
So
playing into it.
Yeah, because he could probably put himself like a barrier, equalize himself.
See, I don't know jack shit about the lore of Star Wars, so like I don't know how that would work.
There's a lot of plot holes in it. Let's just go there.
Okay,
first.
So can we do a pros cons list of where did the plot holes overlap with the plot holes of SpongeBob, and then figure and scientifically calculate who would win?
No, because I tried doing that, and SpongeBob just breaks everything. That's the issue. You're basically taking science fiction magic versus cartoon logic. It does not work, and now you know why I was having an aneurysm. I am, for those audience, because you can't see us, I am now standing up, looming over Asmodeus, not on their side.
On the bed.
But I'm just standing over on my side of the bed, being like, this does not fucking work. It's a dumb question.
Double tent hands. It's also just stoner thoughts. Most of them don't make sense.
Exactly. And everyone was like, okay, well, someone was like, okay, take Darth Vader out. He would still win. I'm like, okay, how does SpongeBob fight against a Force Ghost? You can't touch it, but they can touch you. And everyone's like, oh, SpongeBob messes with ghosts. I'm like, yes, but he doesn't mess with magic ghosts. It is literally, they are part of the essence that makes the entire universe. How does he combat that? Like, sure, he could probably survive most of the crap that Star Wars logic could throw at him. How does he overcome it and beat it? That's my question.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, well, he tired out Flats. Yeah, he tired out one big bully. Okay.
Yeah, I don't see a situation in which
Either side wins. It
Yeah.
is literally an unstoppable force, meaning an unbreakable wall or whatever.
yeah.
Unmovable object. It's literally just, we have reached an impasse. The pink one's right.
And now I'm just sitting here thinking about trolley problems.
Oh god, don't get stoners on trolley problems.
Oh
I
god.
swear.
Listen, I was playing Undertale. Also, I think I've did this disclosure before. If you've not played it by now and you're hiding from spoilers, this isn't the place to be. You've had long enough to play the game.
Yeah, you've had almost 10 years.
There's a fucking trolley problem in Undertale. Is that why they became so popular? Is it because of Undertale that the trolley problems became popular?
What do you mean?
There's a trolley problem in Undertale.
I don't remember there being a trolley problem.
It was one of the trivia question things, I think, for like the TV show, like the trivia show.
Yeah.
I think you could put on. I'm pretty sure there was a trolley problem in there. I was almost positive. And I was like, "What goddamn fucking trolley problems?" And one was like a real long ass math problem with like big word problem, right?
I don't friggin' remember.
Yeah, there was a trolley problem in there. I was like, "God damn it!"
Okay. I don't think Undertale made it popular. It's always been kind of coming in and out. I think the memes and then Cyanide and Happiness making a card game.
Yeah.
With trolley problems, kind of what are the current reason of them. But they're always just fun mental games. You can't do them stoned.
No.
Is there anything else you want to add? I am going to put a poll in this when I finish editing this.
I don't know. I just like how we watched on the ended at trolley problems. We started at gay bars. We ended at trolley problems. That is probably go do that on Wikipedia. See how many pages it takes for you to get from gay bars to trolley problems.
Oh, like 6 degrees of...
Yeah, like 4 degrees of Kevin Bacon. Have you ever played the Wikipedia game?
No, but I've heard of it.
Yeah, you start at one thing and you give yourself an end point and you see how long it takes you to get from start to finish, from one point to the next.
Only using links
Only using links that are in the articles, yes.
Before we end, can I just say there's one thing that's really stupid about trolley problems that no one ever thinks about. They're thinking, oh, you can either go left and kill one person or right and kill a bunch of people. Why can't you just send the fucking thing backwards? Trolleys go both ways on the tracks.
Because that isn't the point of the question.
I don't give a fuck. Y'all ain't using your brains. You could just stop the fucking thing.
No, the brakes are out. That's the whole thing. There are no brakes, and you have to make a decision. It's like a split second. You have to pick one or the other.
Okay.
There are no brakes.
And are we just finding out the trolley's broken and won't break?
Yeah.
Have we tried any of the emergency systems?
There's no context here. The trolley can't stop and it has to kill one group of people.
This does not make sense.
It's a murder trolley.
It does not make sense.
That should be a horror movie based on trolley problems. It's like one of those things. Put it on Netflix and use your remote to be able to navigate it's like Choose Your Own Adventure.
Yeah. Alrighty. Anything else we want to add before we end today?
I don't think so. This has been a fun episode.
It has been. We are trying to go back to our weekly schedule here. Knock on wood. But once again, my name is Rayven. I use she, her pronouns.
I'm Asmodeus. I use they, them pronouns.
We'll see you all in the next episode.
Bye-bye.
Bye.